We need help. Oh! Seriously, never gets easier. Good morning! I hope everyone had a wonderful Father's Day. We spent the day doing a little bit of shopping for our garden and enjoying some hot wings. And then we deep cleaned the bedroom. Trust when I say we needed it so bad. Grief has been killer for my drive to clean and organize. It's even completely killed my drive to cook breakfast for the family in the mornings, and I usually would do that. I mean, truthfully, I am so grateful to have Kameron as my life partner. He picked up a lot of the slack for me while I was just, in such a dark place with my grief. He made breakfast a lot of times. He was making dinner a lot of times. I'm so grateful for that man. Thankfully, I am starting to get to a point where I am able to make more meals for us. I think there's a point, it seems like it, with my daughter and my mother, almost after about 6-ish weeks, then I start feeling like, okay, I'm coming out of the cloud, you know what I mean? I just really cannot stress enough how grateful I am for Kameron, especially with, such deep grief over the loss of my mom and unmedicated ADHD. I feel like everything was falling apart and like everything was falling out of my hands like sand. Speaking of ADHD, I do have my follow-up appointment with my psychiatrist today, this afternoon. I would have preferred in the morning, but that was kind of the only time slot they had. So hopefully Kieran won't be too crazy in the afternoon. I don't know if we're dealing with a 10-month sleep regression or not, but more on that in a little bit. So as I said in a video, maybe a few videos back, I finally got in touch with the psychiatrist to get on the proper medication. She really wanted me to get an EKG done, which I think is a new regulation in California, because the majority of my friends that are outside of California didn't have to do this to obtain the medication that they needed. Either way, I'm grateful for the extra precautions that they're taking as far as cardiac health. My EKG came back and it does show my congenital first-degree AV block. I have had this first-degree AV block since I was born. It's something that runs in our family. I had to get special tests at a cardiologist to be able to join track when I was in school. And basically throughout the years, they said, this is totally innocent. It's not something that's going to harm your quality of life. A normal PR is up to 200 ms. So mine is just a little bit over that. It's still a normal resting heart rate, which is not of concern to any of my care team. They said it basically is like, trying to figure out how to describe this. If your heartbeat goes from point A to point B, there's a certain amount of time that it takes for that point A to point B to happen, and that's generally 200 and under. And mine, as it was described to me, it like goes and then goes around a little corner. So it's just a little bit, it's just a tiny bit slower. But that has never been an issue as far as, me joining track in high school. It wasn't an issue to take ADHD meds before. I'm really hoping it's not something that I'm going to have to go to a specialist to get a letter for. I'm hoping that maybe they have a cardiologist at the office that reviews this and says, okay, that's fine, yeah, she can take it. The meds that can be bad for AV blocks are like beta blockers and like calcium channel blockers, things that slow down the heart rate because the heart rate is already technically slower than normal. But the doctor that I saw when I got my EKG told me, I don't think this is gonna like make you disqualified from getting a stimulant medication because it'd be speeding up your heart rate, not slowing it down. So fingers crossed that there's no more obstacles that I have to go through to get the medication that I need for my mental well-being. Ooh, I want to show you guys something. Oh yes, everybody come out. This is what we got Kameron for Father's Day. He wanted some kind of a tree or a bush thing to go here next to the gate, and everything that we saw that we liked was toxic to cats. I remember reading that star jasmine was okay for cats. Unfortunately, it does kind of attract mosquitoes, but you bet your ass I'm gonna be spraying the crap out of it with that mosquito barrier stuff. It is so wonderful because the entire patio smells beautiful now. Just looks really nice over there too. Trying to think of what I was going to talk about before I got distracted by the jasmine. Okay, I had to go back and rewatch what I was saying earlier in the video. This has been quite a week, maybe even 10 days. I don't know if Kieran is going through a sleep regression right now or if he's trying to drop to 1 nap. Everything that's been happening reminds me of when he dropped from 3 to 2. But everything I was reading earlier today was saying that it's way too early for him to drop to 1 nap. And some of the things kind of line up with a sleep regression. We've never actually had a sleep regression, at least that I know of. I've never noticed any marked change in his sleeping other than when he was switching from 3 to 2 naps. So maybe y'all can help me figure this out. So I want to say it's like right when his 2 bottom teeth finally erupted, everything about sleep changed. And maybe this is also like symptoms of a developmental leap happening right now, because he suddenly exploded with a bunch of new skills. Like I'll put a bunch of pillows and blankets around him and I'll have him on the floor, and he now like grabs onto it and goes to a standing position and tries to like what do they call that? Cruising? Like while holding on to stuff, he'll walk around. Then he does that on the couch as well. And he figured out, just out of nowhere, how to get off the couch and remain standing at the couch. And I'm like, where did you learn that? Nap time has been such a struggle for us. He shows all the signs that he needs to go down for a nap, and then I'll put him down, and it'll just be this like me running up and down the stairs, putting him back in his position, because he flips and starts like crawling around in his crib, and I have to go back up there and kind of put him back on his back and put his binky back in, like, you know, tell him it's nap time. And he's real fussy about it, and it's usually about an hour from the time that he's really like, I need to go to sleep, to finally sleeping. And that is happening twice a day. The second nap is the worst of them, though. I feel like I go a little bit longer and it's even harder. Like he fights that second nap so much more than the first one. And now it's like a battle to get him to go down for bed. Like he's sometimes 90 minutes, sometimes up to 2 hours when he first starts showing like, I'm really, really cranky, I need to go to sleep. And then it's like last night was probably the worst. Even still though, after skipping his afternoon nap yesterday, well, he had like a little 10-minute snooze in the car on the way home. And then he was like, rah, I'm wired. What was I saying? Yeah, even still after kind of like skipping his afternoon nap, he was just awake so many times in the night. And it's been like this for over a week, where we are constantly having to get up and soothe him and, you know, kind of help him go back to sleep. And none of us have been getting good sleep. My friend who has 3 children, she told me, you need to try to make his naps shorter now so that he'll actually go to sleep and stay asleep during the night. But I'm just so exhausted from the lack of sleep during the night that it's hard for me to want to wake him up earlier in his nap. But that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to wake him up 40 minutes earlier. But let me know what y'all did, if this sounds like a sleep regression to you, or if it sounds like he's trying to maybe go down to 1 nap. I mean, I heard it's very rare at 10 months to go to 1 nap, but I've heard it can happen as early as 10, 12 months. I think the other part that was making me suspect the dropping of a nap was that he can just stay awake comfortably for 6 hours. And I'm like, boy, don't you need to sleep? Aren't you growing? Yeah, one of my other friends said it just sounds like a sleep regression, and I'm not really sure exactly how to deal with that, because as I said, we haven't been through one before. So if y'all want to give me all the tips, I would appreciate it. We need help. Okay, my follow-up psychiatrist appointment is in exactly 2 hours, so I will catch up with you then. Who's that cute boy? Thank you, boy. I have the best news. I'm getting my meds. I can almost feel the relief. I'm so happy and I'm so relieved. And I feel like everything's gonna get so much better. And I'm also getting a referral for weekly therapy because, you know, there's a whole lot going on other than just ADHD. So I feel tremendous relief. I'm so excited.